Hello students, today we are going to do Merchant of Venice, Act 2, Scene 3, 4 and 5. Act 2, Scene 3 introduces us to Shylock's daughter Jessica and to her love affair with Lorenzo. Shylock is not present in this scene, but the eagerness with which Jessica manifests to leave her father's home adds to Shylock's image of a miserly tyrant. Jessica's plan to elope with Lorenzo gives Shylock another reason to hate Christians. Jessica gives Lancelot a message to be delivered to Lorenzo. She then expresses her plan to end the conflict between her love for Lorenzo and her loyalty to her father by marrying Lorenzo. Scene 3, Venice, a room in Shylock's house. Enter Jessica and Lancelot. Jessica: I am sorry thou wilt leave my father so. Our house is hell, and thou, a merry devil, didst rob it of some taste of tediousness. But fare thee well, there is a ducat for thee, and Lancelot, soon at supper shalt thou see Lorenzo, who is thy new master's guest. Give him this letter, do it secretly, and so farewell. I would not have my father see me in talk with thee. Lancelot: Adieu, tears exhibit my tongue, most beautiful pagan, most sweet Jew. If a Christian do not play the knave and get thee, I am much deceived. But adieu. These foolish drops do somewhat drown my manly spirit. Adieu. Jessica: Farewell, good Lancelot. Exit Lancelot. Alack, what heinous sin is it in me to be ashamed to be my father's child? But though I am a daughter to his blood, I am not to his manners. O Lorenzo, if thou keep promise, I shall end this strife, become a Christian, and thy loving wife. Exit. So what do we see in this scene? We see that Lancelot comes to say goodbye to Shylock's daughter Jessica because he is going to leave his job with Shylock. Jessica feels sad that Lancelot is going to quit the job. She knows that her father's house is a virtual hell for her. It was Lancelot who used to make her happy by his humorous and witty remarks. Thus, his departure makes her unhappy. Jessica gives some money to him and asks him to deliver a letter to Lorenzo. Lancelot sheds a few drops of tears and praises Jessica for a sweet and kind nature. He says that he is sure that someday some Christian young man would kidnap her. After Lancelot's exit, Jessica says to herself that she is ashamed of being the daughter of a man like Shylock. She decides to run away with Lorenzo, marry him, and become a Christian. This scene actually diverts our attention from the main story that concerns Bassanio and Portia. It deals with the subplot of the story, that is, the love story of Lorenzo and Shylock's daughter Jessica. Jessica, in her remarks about her father, throws sufficient light on the character of her father. She calls Shylock's house a veritable hell. The fact that she wants to run away with Lorenzo proves that she is extremely unhappy in her father's house. Shakespeare wants to convey that Shylock is not even a kind or a beloved father. It proves a good deal of information about Shylock's nature, his home, and his tyrannical attitude towards his daughter Jessica. This scene also reveals Jessica's love for a Christian. It prepares the ground for Jessica's elopement. When Jessica says, I'm sorry that thou leave it, thou wilt leave my father so, our house is a hell, and thou a merry devil. Here she describes, she doesn't even hesitate to call her own home a hell. When she says that the house is a hell, we can imagine the situation she is living in. And everybody present in this house is a devil. And the only one who brings happiness to Jessica is Lancelot, because she calls him a merry devil. I am sorry thou wilt leave my father so, our house is hell, and thou a merry devil didst rob it of some taste of tediousness. Didst rob it of some taste of tediousness means you from the miserable house, you robbed from the miserable house some part of the boredom. Your lively spirit made it a little less miserable. So now the only person who would make Jessica happy, that is Lancelot, even he is leaving this house. And so she decides that she is no longer going to live in this house. She is going to elope with her lover, that is Lorenzo. She is going to get married to Lorenzo. She is so oppressed, she is so depressed, she is so taken away from being a Jew that she wants to convert herself and become a Christian. She feels that in her father, what she sees an image of a very rigid custom, and she wants to do away with this custom. It's not that she must have not come across any good looking or good natured Jewish boy, but she wants to teach her father a lesson by marrying a Christian, because she knows how much her father hates Christians. This is a way of trying to rebel against her father by doing exactly the opposite of what her father wants. Jessica does not prove to be a very good daughter. We'll come to know more about Jessica in the coming chapters. Act 2, Scene 4. This short scene carries on the subplot of Jessica's elopement with Lorenzo. In Venice, Bassanio's friend have planned the celebration at his dinner party. Lancelot delivers Jessica's letter to Lorenzo. Lorenzo informs Gratiano how Jessica, disguised as a torch-bearer, would escape from her father's house with money and jewels to elope with him. That is Lorenzo. The scene provides a contrast to the serious business world of Venice and dwells on the subject of disguise, loyalty, and frivolity. Scene 4, Venice, a street. Enter Gratiano, Lorenzo, Salarino, and Selenio. Lorenzo: Nay, we will slink away in supper time. Disguise us at my lodging and return all in an hour. Gratiano: We have not made good preparation. Salarino: We have not spoke us yet of torch-bearers. Selenio: It's vile, unless it may be quaintly ordered, and better in my mind, not undertook. Lorenzo: It's now but 4 o'clock. We have 2 hours to furnish us. Enter Lancelot with a letter. Friend Lancelot, what's the news? Lancelot: And it shall please you to break up this, it shall seem to signify. What he actually means to signify is to inform you. Lorenzo: I know the hand. in faith, it's a fair hand, and whiter than the paper it writ on is the fair hand that writ. Gratiano. Love news in faith. Lancelot. By your leave, sir. Lorenzo. Whither goest thou? Lancelot. Marry, sir, to bid my old master the Jew to sup tonight with my new master the Christian. Lorenzo. Hold, here, take this. Gives money. Tell gentle Jessica, I will not fail her. Speak it in private. Go. Gentlemen, exit Lancelot. Will you prepare you for the mask tonight? I am provided of a torch-bearer. Celerino. Aye, marry, I'll be gone about it straight. Salanio. And so will I. Lorenzo. Meet me at Gratiano's lodging, some hour hence. Celerino. It's good we do so. Gratiano. Was not that letter from Jessica? Lorenzo. I must needs tell thee all. She had directed how I shall take her from her father's house, what gold and jewels she is furnished with, what pages suit she hath in readiness. If ever the Jew, her father, come to heaven, it will be for his gentle daughter's sake, and never dare misfortune cross her foot, unless she do it under this excuse, that she is issue to a faithless Jew. Come, go with me. Pursue this as thou goest. Fair Jessica shall be my torch-bearer. So in this scene, what we see Lorenzo is discussing with all his close friends, Gratiano, Celerino, Salanio, that he has a plan in mind. He wants to run away with Jessica, who is the daughter of Shylock. Initially, what we see that Gratiano, Celerino and Salanio are very hesitant. They are not willing to support Lorenzo in this because they know that this is something very, very grave, not very good in the eyes of society to elope with somebody's daughter, and that too an interracial marriage at that time when these two communities, the Christians and the Jews, were at loggerhead with one another. They did not like one another at all. At such a time, Lorenzo is planning to run away with Jessica. So they try to give some excuses. Gratiano says, we have not made good preparations. Because Lorenzo's plan is to disguise them, to have a mask parade. Whenever there is like a carnival, during a carnival, the people, they wear masks, they color their faces, they make a lot of noise. And just because Bassanio is leaving for Belmont, on this occasion they want to celebrate, show the whole town that something grand event is happening, and this was only an excuse to disguise themselves and get Jessica with them. So Gratiano says that we have not made preparations. Celerino agrees with him and said, we don't have a torch bearer. Whenever there's a parade or a mask parade, whenever there's a carnival, the carnival is led by a torch bearer. The torch bearer is supposed to be the most beautiful person, and so Celerino says that we don't have a torch bearer, as we have not even discussed on that. And Salanio also agrees, saying it's not good until we have arranged it in style. It should not look haphazard. It should be done in style. When he says quaintly ordered, he means to say it should be done in style. And he says it's better that we do not undertake this plan. Lorenzo is convincing them, and when Lorenzo is convincing them, at that time Lancelot enters with a letter. And when the letter, he says that what he says, I know the hand means handwriting. I know the hand, in faith it's a fair hand. A fair hand here means very beautiful, at the same time very pretty and good handwriting. I know the hand, in faith it's a fair hand. He says it whiter than the paper. The hand is so fair that it is in fact fairer than white paper that the writing is the hand that writ. That means he is again he's trying to praise Jessica, and now Graciano, Lancelot, Graciano, Celerino, Celanio, they are now reassured that it's not a one-sided affair. It's not that it's only Lorenzo who wants to elope with Jessica. In fact, Jessica is reciprocating. Jessica also is in love with Lorenzo, and she has sent a consent. So now they get the confidence and they agree to help Lorenzo. As we see that Act 2 Scene 4 is a scene that is set in Venice. We find Lorenzo, Graciano, Celerino, Celanio discussing the proposal of a masque at night. Masque means a parade where they are wearing masks, nakab. Lorenzo says that they would slip away at supper time, disguise themselves at his place, and come back within an hour. Graciano informs them that they have not made proper preparations for the masque. Celenio says that they should not go ahead without proper preparations. Lorenzo says that it is only 4 o'clock and they have 2 hours in which they can arrange for the necessary equipments. Lancelot comes with a letter for Lorenzo. Graciano remarks that it must be a love letter. Lorenzo asks Lancelot to tell Jessica that they will positively meet her at the appointed time and place. Lorenzo asks his friend to meet at Graciano's house. He informs Graciano that Jessica has planned to elope with him and that she will be carrying with her many gold coins and jewels. Lorenzo remarks that if ever Shylock happens to go to heaven, it will be because of his daughter Jessica. At the same time, he remarks that if ever Jessica goes to hell, it will be because of her father. So, the scene is very significant because it tells us about the elopement of Jessica with Lorenzo. The plan is that there will be a procession in which the revelers will wear masks and carry torches. They will be busy in merrymaking in the procession. The procession will pass by Shylock's house, and on the way to Bassanio's house, Jessica will join the procession wearing a boy's clothing. In this way, she will escape in disguise from her father's house. Jessica's elopement with Lorenzo will carry the story further. Act 2, Scene 5. This scene has a dramatic irony. Shylock trusts his deceitful daughter with his position while she is making plans to betray him. Shylock is not inclined to attend the dinner hosted by Bassanio, but ultimately decides to have the meal at the expense of a prodigal Christian. Prodigal means the one who spends more than he earns. He fears that all is not well and gives instructions to Jessica to lock and guard his house. Lancelot reveals to Jessica Lorenzo's plan for eloping at night. We are shown Jessica at home with her father's trust in her, which further heightens her betrayal. Scene 5. Venice. Before Shylock's house, enter Shylock and Lancelot. Shylock. Well, thou shalt see, thy eyes shall be thy judge, the difference of old Shylock and Bassanio. What, Jessica? Thou shalt not gormandize, as thou hast done with me. What, Jessica? And sleep, and snow, and rend apparel out. Why, Jessica, I say. Now, what is this? What Jessica? What Jessica? Why Jessica? And who is Shylock talking to? Shylock is venting out his anger on Lancelot Gobbo. Lancelot Gobbo, who used to work with Shylock till now, he has resigned from Shylock's job and he has gone and joined Bassanio's service. Shylock says that Lancelot is no good a worker. All he does is eat and tear his apparel. Apparel is his uniform, his clothes. He says, now you will know the difference between Shylock and Bassanio. There he feels Bassanio will make him to do a lot of work and Bassanio will not feed Lancelot properly. And in between he is calling out to Jessica. What Jessica? Why Jessica? Why is he not allowing Lancelot to enter the house? Earlier, Lancelot was his servant. But now, since Lancelot is no longer working for him, to Shylock, Lancelot is a Christian now. And he doesn't want the Christian to enter his house. And therefore he is standing at the door and he's calling out to Jessica. He wants to tell Jessica something important. Therefore he's holding the door. If he walks inside, he knows Lancelot will walk behind him. And he doesn't want Lancelot to enter his house. Therefore he is standing at the door and calling out to Jessica. Lancelot imitates Shylock and calls out to Jessica. Why? Jessica? Shylock. Who bids thee call? I did not bid thee call. Who bid thee call me? Who told you to call Jessica? I did not tell you to call Jessica, he says. Lancelot. Your worship was wont to tell me that I could do nothing without bidding. Lancelot is very witty. He tries to crack a joke here and he says, you were just now telling that I do not do any work without telling me. Therefore, since you did not tell me, I am proving that I am of some work. See, I am calling out to Jessica. And he calls out to Jessica. And when Jessica hears Lancelot, she comes. Enter Jessica. Call you? What is your will? Jessica here is talking to her father, Shylock. Call you, that means did you call me? And why did you call me? Shylock. I am bid forth to supper, Jessica. There are my keys. But wherefore should I go? I am not bid for love. They flatter me. But yet, I'll go in hate to feed upon the prodigal Christian. Jessica, my girl, look to my house. I am right loath to go. There is some ill brewing towards my rest, for I did dream of money bags tonight. Now Shylock is a very superstitious person. He calls Jessica and says Jessica that he is going to Bassanio's house and he doesn't want to go there because he has some respect for Bassanio or he has some love for Bassanio, but he is actually going in hate. He's just going there to help Bassanio to waste the money that he has just borrowed. And he says, I am right loath to go. When he says, I am right loath to go, he means to say that he does not wish to go, he is actually reluctant to go. Why is he reluctant? Because he said that he has some dream. He had a dream and in which he saw money bags. So Shylock feels that this is an indication of something bad that is going to happen. Shylock is very, very superstitious in nature. There is some ill brewing towards my rest. Something evil is being plotted against me. He means to say that something bad is going to happen. So therefore he does not want to go. For I did dream of money bags tonight. So according to Shylock, having dreams about his money bag means that something terrible is going to happen to his wealth, which in fact will happen because we know that what plan Jessica has. But Lancelot puts in his word here and he says, I beseech you, sir, go. My young master doth expect your reproach. Now Lancelot is put in here to create some sort of a comedy, and so he misuses words. Like when he says, I beseech you, sir, go. My young master doth expect your reproach. What he actually means, he expect your approach. But he purposely is using, or Shylock is making him to misuse words or use the exactly opposite word so that the audience should laugh. I beseech you, sir, go. My young master doth expect your approach. Actually, he means to say, but he says reproach. Shylock, so do I his. What does Shylock means when he says so do I his? He says I expect his reproach. Shylock takes the word reproach literally. Shylock knows how Bassanio will reproach him if the scheme against Antonio succeeds. Lancelot. And they have conspired together. I will not say you shall see a mask, but if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday, last at 6 o'clock in the morning. Falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 year in the afternoon. Now Lancelot here actually does not want to give out the details or give out the plan of Lorenzo's elopement with Jessica, but it comes out from his mouth that and they have not conspired for nothing. And he says that they have conspired together. Conspired means set up a plan where they are disguising themselves, but he actually is giving the audience. He says that for the audience to know the conspiracy against Shylock, that is Jessica's elopement. The words have a significance of which Lancelot himself is not conscious about. It is in fact an instance of dramatic irony. So are Shylock's direction to Jessica about shutting up the house carefully. Lancelot, I will not say you shall see a mask, but if you do, then it was for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday. Again here there is some sort of a blind faith prevalent in the society. Bleeding of a nose is a sign that something is going to happen, either something very good or something very bad. And they have conspired together. I will not say you shall see a mask, but if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday. Again, Black Monday and Ash Wednesday. Again here there is something that I need to explain to you all. On Black Monday, last at 6 o'clock in the morning, falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 year in the afternoon. So what he means by Black Monday? What is this Black Monday? Black Monday is an historical event. Black Monday is actually the Monday which is after Easter Sunday. In the Christians, there's a festival known as Easter. It is the biggest festivals of the Christians, like Christmas. Christmas is the birth of Christ, and Easter is the resurrection of the Lord, the day when Jesus rose from the dead. So Easter is the festival to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. So the Monday following the Sunday of Easter is considered as Black Monday. And why is it considered as Black Monday? There is a historical event which happened in 1360. In the year 1360, France and England were constantly at war. At this time, they were not friends. Like we have seen in First World War, in history we have studied about the First World War, how they were friends or allies in First World War and Second World War. But before that, France and England were constantly at war. So this is an event in the year 1360 on Easter Monday, the Sunday after Easter, when King Edward III's army was caught in a black fog and cold outside Paris. Many soldiers froze to death, hence it is known as Black Monday. Now Easter comes in the month of March and April. This is a time for summer. So the army, the king of England, he had sent his army to surround Paris. The army was not prepared for a severe winter. But here something miraculous happened. The intervening night of Easter Sunday and Monday, the night was so cold and so foggy that more than half of the army, King Edward's army, had perished in the cold. They had frozen to death. So henceforth, the Monday following Easter was called as Black Monday. And what is this Ash Wednesday? This Ash Wednesday is the first day of Lent. The Christian people, they have fasting for 40 days. Okay, on 40 days before Easter, leaving the Sundays, the Wednesday that comes before the 40 days complete, on that particular day, the priest, he applies ash, of the palm leaves. Palm leaves are burnt, and the leaves, the ash of these leaves are applied on the forehead. It's smeared on the forehead in the sign of a cross, and he says, dust you are, to dust you shall return. So this is the Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent. On this day, people put ashes on their forehead to remind them that man was made from dust and he shall return to dust. Lent is a period of prayer and penance in preparation for Easter. It is absurd of Lancelot to talk of Easter Monday and Ash Wednesday falling at the same time, because there is a period of 40 days between them. Lancelot says, it was not for nothing that my nose bled on Monday, falling the year on Ash Wednesday. So within 40 days time, he says my nose was bleeding. Now, Shylock, what? Are they masks? Hear you me, Jessica? Look, lock my doors, and when you hear the drums and the vile squealing of the wry-necked fife, clamber not you up to the casements, then, nor thrust your head into the public street, to gaze on Christian fools with varnished faces, but stop my house's ears, I mean my casements. Let not the sound of shallow foppery enter my sober house. By Jacob's staff, I swear, I have no mind of feasting forth tonight. But I will go. Go you before me, Sirha. Say, I will come. The moment Shylock hears that there is going to be a mask parade, he tells Jessica to immediately lock all the doors and windows of the house. He does not want even the noise of the parade. The parade is a traditional custom before Easter or before Ash Wednesday. There is a carnival in most of the countries, Latin American countries like Brazil, Argentina, and in fact even in Goa. Before entering into this festival of Lent, the season of Lent is penance. People abstain from eating meat. Carni means flesh, carnivorous. So carnival is, they try to make as much merry as possible, as much enjoyment as possible before they enter into this period of Lent, a period of penance. So he says, I don't want these Christian customs, the noise of the customs, to even enter my house. So he tells her not to climb up the doors and windows and look out at this Christian fool. Here he swears by Jacob's staff. Who is Jacob? As I told you earlier, Jacob is the third heir in apparent of the Jewish community. Lancelot, I will go before, sir. Mistress, look out at window for all this. There will come a Christian by, will be worth a Jew's eye. So before going, Lancelot, he quietly tells Jessica to look out of the window, because he knows that who is coming and why that person is coming. Shylock says, what say the fool of Hagar's offspring, huh? Now who is Hagar here? Again, there's a reference of Abraham. His wife had no children even at the age of 80, and Abraham was told by God that he would have so many children that he could compare them to the stars in the sky and the sands on the beach. But at the age of 80, he had not even a single child. So she feels that maybe God's plan is to give Abraham a child through some other woman. So she makes her servant, her slave, Hagar, to get married to Abraham. And Abraham does in fact have a child from Hagar. So the Jews, they consider themselves the offsprings of Abraham through his wife, which Abraham has later. And the non Jewish community are the offsprings of Hagar. So therefore he refers to Lancelot as the offspring of Hagar. What says the fool of Hagar? Hagar's offspring, huh? Jessica. His words were, "Farewell, mistress, nothing else." The patch is kind enough. Patch, joker. Fool, because his clothes are torn, he stitches his clothes, so therefore he calls him as a patch. The patch is kind enough, but a huge feeder. Snails low in profit, and he sleeps by day. More than the wildcat drones hive not with me. Therefore I part with him, and part with him to one that I would have him help to waste his borrowed purse. Well, Jessica, go in. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you. Shut doors after you. Fast bind, fast find. A proverb never stale in thrifty mind. Jessica, farewell. And if my fortune be not crossed, I have a father, you a daughter lost. So, what says the fool of Hagar's offspring? Huh? According to the Old Testament, the Gentiles, the people despised by the Jews, were supposed to have been descended from Hagar, the slave woman, maid of Abraham's wife Sarah. The Jews trace a line back to Sarah. Lancelot the servant is said to have descended from Hagar. Okay, so that's the story here.